Every morning, millions of us stare into closets that are just well packed, like dozens, maybe hundreds of garments.
Right.
Hangers are literally crammed together, and yet, almost universally, we will look at that absolute mountain of fabric and utter the exact same lie.
I have absolutely nothing to wear.
Exactly. I have nothing to wear. But what if the problem isn't actually a lack of clothing? What if the real issue is that your closet doesn't have an operating system?
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Because, I mean, we spend a massive amount of mental energy just trying to figure out how to present ourselves to the world.
Hmm.
Or, we flip to the totally other extreme.
Doom scrolling.
Yes, sitting on the couch at midnight just doom scrolling through endless pages of online stores until the sheer volume of choice leaves us completely paralyzed.
It's the ultimate paradox of choice, really.
Yeah.
You have infinite options right at your fingertips, which somehow makes it infinitely harder to make, a single decision.
Yeah.
The cognitive load of just filtering out what you don't like just to find the one thing you actually do like, it's exhausting.
Which brings us to the core of our deep dive today.
Yeah.
We are exploring a fascinating document titled The Rise of AI in Personal Fashion Recommendations.
It's a great piece.
It really is. And our mission here is to understand how artificial intelligence is moving out of the tech labs and directly into our wardrobes. We are looking at how advanced computation is fundamentally changing how we discover, buy, and, well, eventually wear our clothing.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because on the surface, the deeply personal art of fashion and the cold, rigid logic of algorithms, they feel like they belong in totally different universes.
For most of modern retail history, they absolutely did. I mean, the fashion industry has operated almost entirely on educated guesswork.
Really, just guesswork.
Pretty much, yeah. Brands would design a massive catalog, manufacture thousands of units, flood the physical stores, and just cross their fingers that consumers would stumble across something they liked. But we are looking at a paradigm shift right now, where intelligent, data-driven systems are replacing that scattershot approach. We're moving from a broadcast model to a hyper-personalized curation model.
I have to be a little skeptical here, though.
Sure.
Because when I hear personalized fashion algorithm, my mind immediately goes to my own, frankly, frustrating experiences with online shopping.
I think we've all been there.
Right, like 2 months ago, I bought a pair of heavy winter boots online. And for the next 6 weeks, every single ad I saw was for heavy winter boots.
Naturally.
The algorithm didn't seem intelligent to me. It just seemed incredibly stubborn, like I already bought the boots. I don't need 12 more pairs. So is this AI actually smarter than that, or is it just aggressive retargeting?
Okay, so that aggressive retargeting is actually a perfect example of what early, very rudimentary algorithms look like.
Okay.
They operate on a super simple conditional logic, like if a user clicks a boot, show them 1,000 more boots.
Yeah, exactly.
The AI outlined in this research, what they call personal style analysis, is entirely different. We are talking about neural networks that vectorize clothing attributes.
Vectorize. Vectorize meaning breaking the garment down into data points.
Precisely that. When this AI looks at a shirt you linger on, it doesn't just see a shirt. It breaks that garment down into dozens of distinct data points.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it notes the specific drape of the fabric, the width of the collar, the exact hex code of the color, the geometric pattern, and then it cross-references those attributes with your broader behavior online.
So it's watching what else I do.
Right. It looks at the items you save for later, the styles you consistently purchase, and, crucially, the items you quickly scroll past. Over time, it maps out a really complex, multidimensional web of your actual aesthetic preferences.
So it's less like a traditional catalog and much more like a Spotify playlist for your closet.
That's a brilliant analogy, yes. Just like Spotify knows you skip heavy metal on Sunday mornings and curates an acoustic track instead, this AI learns that I never actually buy the bright neon colors I might occasionally click on, so just stop showing them to me.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is how that completely shifts the emotional experience of shopping. The system learns that you consistently gravitate toward minimalist clothing in neutral shades. Your beiges, your grays, your clean lines.
Uniform.
Right. So instead of overwhelming you with a neon patterned jacket that you will ultimately reject anyway, it curates a selection of minimalist pieces. And then it goes a step further to suggest complementary accessories that match that precise aesthetic.
That sounds incredibly efficient.
It is. The primary value proposition of AI in this context is saving the consumer time while drastically increasing their satisfaction. You aren't hunting for a needle in a haystack anymore. The AI simply hands you a beautifully curated collection of needles. I can see how that cures the endless midnight scrolling. If the system filters out the noise, fashion discovery becomes incredibly efficient.
Hmm.
But finding the right style is really only half the battle.
Oh, absolutely.
The other half, which is arguably the source of most shopping trauma, is the fit.
Yes, the dreaded fit.
Because you can find the most beautiful jacket in the world, the algorithm can nail your aesthetic perfectly, but when it arrives in the mail and you can't even get your arms through the sleeves, the whole system fails.
It falls apart entirely.
There's nothing worse than doing that awkward, sweaty dance in a fitting room trying to peel off a garment that is 2 sizes too small.
Sizing inconsistency is the Achilles heel of fashion e-commerce. It is a massive point of friction for consumers. But the text highlights how AI-powered systems are actively dismantling this problem.
How so?
We are seeing the deployment of smart size prediction tools and virtual fitting technologies that go way, way beyond a standard size chart.
Because, let's be honest, a medium in one brand is a completely different universe than a medium in another brand.
Oh, 100%.
How does an algorithm actually decode that madness without me having to bust out a measuring tape every single time I shop?
So the mechanism relies on comparative data mapping. The AI takes the specific millimeter-accurate dimensions of a garment directly from the manufacturer.
Okay.
Then it looks at your purchase history, but specifically, it analyzes the garments you have kept and not returned.
Oh, wow. That's clever.
Right. If it knows that a specific brand's size large shirt fits you perfectly, it maps the dimensions of that known successful garment against the new item you are looking at.
So it's basically using my own closet as the measuring tape.
Exactly. It factors in your stated preferences too, like whether you prefer a relaxed, oversized fit or a tailored, slim fit, and it calculates the exact size you need for this new, totally unfamiliar brand.
Okay, so the AI fixes the sizing, which solves the problem for the clothes that are already sitting in a warehouse somewhere. But let's follow that causal link for a second. What about the clothes that haven't even been manufactured yet? If the industry is moving away from guesswork, how does the AI know what we're going to want to buy next season?
That brings us to trend prediction, which is where these machine learning models really flex their computational muscle.
Okay, I'm listening.
The AI doesn't just analyze individual consumer behavior, it constantly monitors the macro environment. It scrapes vast amounts of data from social media platforms, analyzing the styles influencers are wearing, tracking early customer demand signals, and monitoring search patterns across the entire internet.
Wait, how does it actually scrape social media? It's not just like reading text hashtags, right?
No, it utilizes advanced computer vision.
Yeah.
The algorithms are literally looking at the pixels in thousands of Instagram or TikTok videos.
Looking at the pixel.
Yeah, they can identify that suddenly a specific type of wide-leg denim or a particular style of bucket hat is appearing in 40% more posts among a certain demographic.
That's why.
It synthesizes all of those visual cues and search queries to predict a surge in demand before that trend ever reaches the mainstream market.
I have to pause on that.
Mm.
Because that sounds like a recipe for a massive cultural echo chamber.
In what way?
Well, if the AI is predicting trends just by looking at what influencers are wearing and then feeding those exact items to millions of everyday users, aren't we all just going to end up caught in this endless feedback loop?
I see what you're saying.
Like the algorithm sees an influencer wear a bucket hat, it suggests bucket hats to the masses, everyone buys the bucket hat, and suddenly the algorithm assumes bucket hats are the absolute pinnacle of human expression. Everyone ends up dressing exactly the same.
This raises an important question, and from a cultural standpoint, the homogenization of style is a highly valid concern.
Yeah.
But if we evaluate this from the industry's perspective, accurately predicting those trends is nothing short of revolutionary.
Because it saves money.
Massive amounts of money. Consider the financial risk a brand takes every time they launch a new line. They are putting millions of dollars on the line based on a hunch about what consumers will want 6 months from now.
Right.
When AI can predict those macro trends and simultaneously solve the micro problem of individual sizing, it fundamentally transforms the business model. Brands can optimize their inventory management to an unprecedented degree. They know exactly what styles to manufacture and precisely what size breakdowns are required for different regions.
Which directly attacks something consumers rarely think about when they click Add to Cart. We tend to treat the return policy like a magic undo button.
Oh, totally.
You know, you buy 3 pairs of jeans just to see which one fits, keep one and send 2 back, thinking they just go right back on the shelf neatly folded. But the reality of that reverse logistics process is a complete nightmare.
The logistics of returns are staggering. By the time a brand receives a returned item, inspects it for damage, repackages it, and processes the restocking, it often costs them more than the garment is actually worth. Yeah. Historically, it has been cheaper for many fast fashion retailers to simply incinerate returned clothing or dump it into landfills rather than try to resell it. The environmental impact is devastating.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because by deploying these predictive models, AI isn't just acting as a personal stylist. It is essentially fixing a profoundly broken supply chain.
Exactly.
We're effectively moving away from a make a million shirts and pray they sell model to a make exactly what the algorithm knows people actually want and will fit into model. It is a massive win for the consumer's closet, but an even bigger win for the landfill.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, artificial intelligence creates a rare win-win scenario in global commerce. Consumers are provided with an incredibly personalized, low-friction shopping experience where the clothes feel tailor-made for their lifestyle.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, brands achieve a massive sustainable competitive advantage. Better forecasting means fewer unsold garments, which translates directly to a radical reduction in industrial waste and lost revenue.
Okay, so the sources outline some applications of this tech that sound like they were pulled straight out of a science fiction novel.
They really do.
We're moving toward a future where you don't just browse for a shirt. You open an app, and a smart wardrobe assistant instantly generates a complete head-to-toe outfit recommendation.
It's wild to think about.
It factors in the shirt, the matching shoes, the complementary accessories, and it cross-references all of that with a local weather forecast for the day and the specific occasion you were dressing for.
That sci-fi future is actually already being beta tested.
Yeah.
We are seeing platforms experiment heavily with augmented reality, or AR, for virtual try-ons.
So no more guessing from flat photos.
Exactly. The technology is advancing to the point where you won't have to rely on a photograph of a model with a completely different body type wearing the garment. You will be able to project a hyper-realistic digital twin of the clothing onto a 3D avatar of your own body.
Wow.
Yeah, allowing you to preview exactly how the fabric drapes and moves before a physical product is ever even shipped to you.
The document specifically highlights platforms like Apparelizer as key players in this space. How do these platforms fit into this broader ecosystem? Because it sounds like we are moving away from visiting individual brand websites entirely.
Platforms like Apparelizer are positioning themselves to become the central operating systems for our wardrobes. Instead of navigating dozens of disjointed retail sites, a user just logs into a centralized hub.
Like a dashboard for your clothes.
Right. The platform's AI runs in the background, filtering the entire internet's clothing inventory to present only the items that align with the user's validated preferences and measurements. It transitions the whole experience from brand-centric shopping to user-centric styling.
So it's essentially a digital personal shopper that has the entire global supply of clothing at its disposal. A perfectly tailored, highly sustainable, weather-appropriate wardrobe curated instantly.
That's the vision.
It sounds utopian. But we have to address the elephant in the room here. Whenever we hand over the keys to our lives to an algorithm, or in this case, the keys to our closets, there are always significant trade-offs. What is the catch here?
The document is very transparent about the immediate hurdles, and the most prominent is the issue of data privacy.
Naturally. Because for an AI to know my exact dimensions, my preferred color palettes, my daily location for weather updates, and my entire purchase history, it requires an incredibly intimate level of surveillance.
These systems are voracious when it comes to data consumption. They just cannot function effectively without absorbing massive amounts of personal information.
Which is terrifying.
It is. This inevitably creates complex information security challenges. Users are being asked to trust that these third-party platforms will rigorously protect their biometric measurements, their geographic data, and their financial habits from breaches or unauthorized monetization.
That is a tremendous amount of trust to place in a piece of software just to avoid trying on a pair of pants.
It really is a big leap.
But beyond the very real data security concerns, there is a deeper, almost philosophical trade-off highlighted in the text: the limitation of creativity. And this circles back to the feedback loop we discussed earlier. Fashion is not just utility, right? It's highly emotional.
It is Arguably one of our most potent forms of nonverbal communication.
Hmm.
The way we dress broadcasts our identity, our current mood, and our cultural affiliations to the world.
Yeah.
And while an algorithm is unparalleled at identifying mathematical patterns in data, it fundamentally lacks the capacity to understand the emotional or cultural weight behind a style choice.
And that is exactly where I see the system breaking down. If the algorithm only ever shows me the safe, minimalist, neutral shades, because it knows that's what I historically buy, how do I ever experience that serendipitous moment of discovery?
Right, the happy accident.
Exactly. What about the thrill of walking past a store window, seeing a wild, bright neon jacket that I would never normally wear, and buying it on a whim just because it makes me feel adventurous? Doesn't this hyper-optimization effectively kill the emotional art of fashion?
You are isolating the exact limitation of machine learning. AI is inherently backward-looking. Its predictive power is entirely based on historical data.
So it only knows who I was yesterday.
Precisely. If consumers yield all of their styling decisions to an algorithm, our fashion landscape runs the very real risk of becoming intensely predictable and aesthetically stagnant. The AI can guarantee a perfect fit, and it can optimize the supply chain to eliminate waste, but it lacks a soul.
Wow.
It cannot compute the deeply human desire to break established rules simply for the joy of subversion.
Which is the most human impulse imaginable. Waking up on a random Tuesday and deciding, you know what, I'm wearing the neon jacket today, rules be damned.
Artificial intelligence is designed to seek perfect optimization, but true fashion historically thrives on imperfection. It evolves through deliberate clashes, counterculture movements, and sudden, irrational shifts in taste.
That makes total sense.
The ultimate challenge as this technology matures will be finding the equilibrium, utilizing AI to eliminate the friction, the terrible sizing, and the environmental waste of the industry, without allowing it to dictate our capacity for creative expression.
That is a phenomenal way to frame the tension. Removing the friction without losing the spark. Well, synthesizing everything we've pulled from these sources, one thing is abundantly clear. The era of aimlessly browsing through endless pages of generic clothing is coming to a close.
Truly.
Fashion is no longer just about the textile or the designer's vision. The industry is becoming intelligent, hyper-personalized, and intensely predictive. The old catalogs are dead, and the era of the data-driven closet operating system has officially arrived.
It's a new world.
It really is. So what does this all mean? We have explored the mechanics of vectorization, the incredible potential to clean up the supply chain, and the rise of platforms that can dress us for the weather before we even step outside. But as we hand over more control to these brilliant, optimization-obsessed machines...
It leaves you with a lingering, provocative thought to chew on.
Go for it.
If an AI application eventually reaches the point where it can flawlessly predict your perfect outfit, perfectly tailored to your exact measurements, color-coordinated to your specific aesthetic, and optimized for the afternoon weather, at what point does your personal style stop being yours and start belonging entirely to the algorithm?
Ooh.
Right. In a fast-approaching future where every single person is styled to absolute mathematical perfection by a machine, will having inexplicably bad taste actually become the ultimate form of human rebellion.
Now that is a thought that will definitely stick with you the next time you are standing in front of your closet.
Arr.
To all of you listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Whether you are ready to let the algorithm curate your perfect wardrobe, or you're throwing on that neon jacket just to mess with the data models, keep finding ways to express yourself. We will see you on the next one.